This is the start of session 628. It was November 15th, 1972, 9:29 p.m. on a Wednesday evening. In Monday's session, Seth has started a discussion of Jane's recent visitor, Augustus, who had shown definite signs of a subordinate or secondary personality. As we sat for tonight's session, Jane said, "I know what Seth's going to call Augustus's other personality, Augustus 2. We were amused thinking of Seth and Seth 2. Now, Jane began speaking slowly in trance. "Good evening." "Good evening, Seth." And we will resume dictation. To begin with, Augustus was brought up to believe that the inner self was dangerous, that individuals reacted because of inner conflicts over which they had little control. He believed that the individual personality was relatively powerless to understand itself, and that it stood precariously alone and undefended with a chasm of evil beneath and with an unattainable cold just but not compassionate good above. He felt bewildered in a world of opposites. Conflicting beliefs were uncritically accepted. The conscious mind will always attempt to make sense out of its beliefs, to form patterns and sequences. It will usually organize ideas in as rational a way as possible and dispense with those that seem to contradict the overall system of its beliefs. Augustus had been taught to fear his own thoughts, to avoid self-examination. Beliefs or ideas that frightened him were not faced, therefore, but initially shoved into corners of the conscious mind, where they loved relatively harmlessly in the beginning. As time went on, the number of unexamined frightening thoughts began to accumulate. Ideas and beliefs do feed upon themselves. There is within them a built-in impetus towards growth, development, and fulfillment. Over the years, two opposing systems of beliefs built up strongly, vying for Augustus's attention. He believed that he was utterly powerless as an individual, that despite all his efforts he felt completely unloved. He did not feel worthy of love. At the same time, he let his conscious mind wander and, to compensate, saw himself as all-powerful, contemptuous of his fellow human beings, and able to work greater vengeance upon them for their misunderstanding of him. In this line of beliefs, he was able to do anything: cure mankind's ills if he chose, or withhold such knowledge from the world to punish it. Period. Now, all of these ideas were quite conscious, but he held each group separately. The conscious mind again tries to obtain overall integrity and unity, lining up its beliefs into some kind of consistent system. When opposing beliefs that directly contradict each other are held for any length of time, and little attempt is made to reconcile them, then a battle begins within the conscious mind itself. Since it is the beliefs of the conscious mind that regulate the involuntarily bodily motions and the entire physical system, then contradictory beliefs obviously set up adverse physical reactions and imbalances. Before Augustus's opposing beliefs lined themselves up into separate camps, so to speak, the body was in continual turmoil. Contradictory messages were constantly sent to the muscular system and the heart. The hormonal system teetered. Even its physical temperature varied rather drastically. Because like ideas do attract like, both electromagnetically and emotionally, the conscious mind found itself with two complete contradictory systems of beliefs and two self-images. To protect the integrity of the physical structure, Augustus's conscious mind neatly divided itself up. No longer were the minute-to-minute messages to the body scrambled. The part of Augustus who felt powerful and alien became personified. When Augustus felt threatened, then the conscious mind switched over, accepting as operating procedure the system of beliefs in which Augustus saw himself as all-powerful, secure, but as alien. This part of his beliefs, therefore, and this particular self-image took over his conscious mind and became what we will here call Augustus II. When Augustus II assumed leadership, then the physical body itself was not only strong and powerful, but capable of physical feats far surpassing those of Augustus I. Augustus II, you see, believes that his body is nearly invincible, and following this belief, the body does perform much better. Augustus II believes that he is alien. In this case, the rationale, because there must be one, is that he is a being from another planet. In fact, from another galaxy. His purpose in this case is quite clear and simple. He is to help Augustus I to use his power on the latter's behalf, rewarding his friends and terrifying his enemies. Augustus I quite deeply believes he needs this kind of help. Now, this is a split of the conscious mind. It does not originate within the inner self. When Augustus II takes over, he is quite conscious. He simply views physical reality through an undeviating system of beliefs. The messages sent to the body are not in the least contradictory. The body is under excellent control. Augustus I's moods, of course, were a direct result of the ideas he was entertaining. It was this unceasing swing from high states of exaltation and power to low ones of powerlessness and depression that the body could not tolerate because of vast alterations entailed. For the greater periods of time, Augustus I predominates, since his ideas of worthlessness in your terms were adopted earlier, and worse, are only reinforced by the contrast between him and Augustus II. Augustus II comes on sometimes for as long as a week at a time. He does all the things and says all the things that Augustus I would dearly love to do and say, with only certain safeguards. Augustus I, however, is not literally unconscious during this time, but quite aware of the vicarious activities and fulfillments. Again, it is a game of hide and seek, in which the so-called unconscious mind is relatively innocent. Augustus II can therefore rant and rave, lie and cheat, assert himself, show his contempt for his fellows, and absolve Augustus I of any responsibility. You may now take your break, and we will continue. This marks the end of Seth Speaks. This is Chapter 6, and this is our Part 3 of the nature of personal reality. Let's break it down. So, in this excerpt, Seth explores the inner conflicts and self-perceptions of a character named Augustus. Augustus is portrayed as someone who has been taught to fear his own thoughts and to avoid self-examination. This leads to the accumulation of conflicting beliefs in a divided conscious mind. Seth describes how Augustus develops two opposing self-images, Augustus I and Augustus II, each representing different sets of beliefs and behaviors. Augustus I feels powerless and unworthy of love, while Augustus II feels all-powerful and alien, capable of great feats. This split in his conscious mind leads to alternating periods of dominance between the two selves, resulting in drastic mood swings and physical imbalances. The excerpt delves into the consequences of holding contradictory beliefs and the impact on both mental and physical well-being. If you've enjoyed this reading, please consider giving it a like, sharing with a friend, and of course subscribing for more, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss any videos. What did you think about this particular passage? Please leave it in the comments below. And as always, I am Tony Victory, a wolf uncaged. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening.